Hello, lovely patrons on Patreon. I do sincerely hope that this is working. I have done my best to make sure that it does work. And I'm now going to open up the live stream so that I can make sure. Hello? Am I still online? Am I here? Are you here? I just refreshed the exact wrong. The one thing I shouldn't have done is the thing that I did. I refreshed the wrong page. I don't know if anyone's still here, if anyone can see this right now. Tell me if you can see this. I am so confused. I don't know if this is working. Oh, man. And my internet is so slow that I can actually barely use it right now. Okay, let's test. Your stress. And anyone else? Is anyone with me? Are you guys watching? Can you see me? I'm going to try test it out myself on my end to make sure that it is working, but I'm not sure that it is. Okay. So this is working. So if anyone is watching, please do comment, and hopefully this works well. The internet here is bad today, so we're just going to do the best that we can. I'm going to just share this. And hopefully some people can make it by. Hopefully if you are watching, if you can see this right now, please comment or say something. Can you hear me? If you can't hear me, then you're not going to know what I'm saying, which makes the whole thing moot. But hopefully you can hear me, and you will stop by in just a moment. So yeah, let me hear from you if you're there. I need to know that this is working. It's quite a setup that I've gone through to get this operational. So I'm just hoping that we have success. Anybody there? Anybody listening? Anybody here? Anyone at all? Okay. Oh, I cannot see the comments on YouTube, Peter. I just saw your one on Patreon. Yes, if anyone is watching on YouTube, could you rather watch on Patreon, if it works, and comment on Patreon, because that's where I'm following the comments. I suppose I could add something else and watch another way. Hello, Yari. Hello, hello. I'm not sure what kind of a delay we have right now, but hopefully it's not so much that it distracts us. So I've set up quite an interesting thing here, which is that I'm recording this through my normal music recording software, which means this is an experiment for future podcast episodes, because in what I'm eventually going to do, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Funny, when I try to speak, I lose my voice. What's going on there, I wonder? So what I'm doing, thank you so much, Yari. I'm glad you like the mic. The idea is to record my podcast episodes in future like this live to you who are on Patreon specifically. And then I'm also recording this to my computer at the same time so I can take the audio and I can create a full podcast episode from that after the fact, which is incredible. It's taken me a long time and a lot of effort and thought to try and make this work. So you're hearing the microphone sound, and I also have the capability at this point to play music for you, which is pretty cool, I think. So hopefully that's going to work well. I would like to just share this on the Facebook group, because let me just make sure I'm closing the right thing here. I want to share this whole thing on the Facebook group and see if we can. Who's watching right now? I see we've got Yari, we've got Peter. Do we have anyone else tuning in? Oh, hello, Alex. Oh, that's a shame. Ah, that is a shame. Okay, watching on mobile, that makes sense. I suppose then you could also watch it on YouTube. There, if you have the YouTube app, you could click the link in this Patreon post right now, and you should be able to then comment, and I'll just follow that as well. I'm just going to open up that tab and do my best to follow those comments as well. But I'll be primarily on the Patreon, so I'll see them more swiftly there. But I shall do my best. Wow, this is so intense. Trying to do all of this. Oh my gosh. So what's going on? Why is it playing? It should be playing pause. I'm just trying to find the chat. Oh, hello. Okay, so now I see Peter's comments as well on the YouTube. Yes, hello, Faye. So I see Faye is also watching on YouTube, which is fine. So I'm just going to check between the two, if that's okay. Ideally, Martin. Hi, Martin. Ideally, yes, on Patreon would be best for me. It's just easier to keep track of everything and everyone if we're all in one place. But I see some people are having struggles with that, so they're commenting on the YouTube, which is also okay. Maybe it's easier from mobile to do it like that. Although if you have the Patreon app, you should easily be able to comment that way. So anyway, I'm not sure. Whatever works for you. Ideally on Patreon, but whatever works, we can do that. So it shows me we have 6 people watching right now, which is cool. So thank you to those of you who have made it already. We are 10 minutes in. I'm hoping we have some more people. This is kind of like a really important live stream for me, and I'm hoping that some more folk can stop by, which would be amazing. So Faye, I can see you commented on the YouTube chat. So I can see you commenting there. If you can comment on Patreon, that'd be rad. But if you can't, I'll just keep checking back every few minutes. So did anyone have a chance to read my long last post? Did anyone read it? Does anyone have any initial thoughts? Hello, Angela. Thank you for making it. I really appreciate it. It's so kind of you. I see we have 7 people watching now. This is wonderful. The tribe is gathering. Oh, interesting, Faye. I don't know why it loads on YouTube but not in Patreon. That's very strange, and I'm sorry to hear that. I do want to find better ways to live stream going forward. So yeah. Anyway, so I wrote this very long post, which some of you have read, and Yari, you're a happy man, then that's all good. That's okay, Peter. I totally understand. It was a very long post, and I assumed that people would skim some of it because I do the same with very long posts, but I had to get it out. It was important. Hi, Harriet. Thank you for reading it. I'm so glad that you did. I really appreciate that. So I would love to hear any thoughts and ideas and feelings that any of you have about what I said. My feeling is that basically the core thing that I need to do is define what my value proposition is. What is the value that I bring to the world, so that I can focus really deeply on doing that in the most sort of effective way possible. I was actually looking up in the sort of I don't have anything against talking about branding, but some people do. I think it's just a way of using language to describe something that we can all understand. And for me, what I'm lacking right now is really like a brand story, the core brand offering. What is it that I bring into the world that people connect with most? That isn't just because then it takes it away from being just songs or just live streams or just any particular thing, but it's really I can do anything. I can write or sing or blog or vlog or podcast, any of those, and the people who love what I do will enjoy it because it'll be shared with that same core purpose in mind. And that's what I feel like the next step is. And thank you so much, Harriet. That's I like that. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel so this is a part of it, and I would love us to have a conversation about this. I feel like for whatever reason what I bring, it seems to be of inspiration to people. It seems to make people feel more okay about being themselves. And I feel like it's what I do is attractive to people who are open-hearted, who are sensitive, who are trying to make sense of the world as best as possible, and who are struggling in some ways and also succeeding in other ways, and that those people find some peace in what I offer. Um, oh, hey, Faye, Faye. You don't have to comment. Comment wherever you need to. Okay, hi Alex. You're watching on YouTube. So this is Oh, thank you, Harriet. Thank you so much. So this is one of the challenges. As you can see, I've like cobbled together this method where we're live streaming on Patreon through YouTube, through all these it's like completely messed up. Like the channels just are confused and strange. And I would like to simplify these things so that it becomes much easier for us to do this going forward. One of the things I've considered doing is signing up for Crowdcast, which is another platform that you can link to YouTube, to Patreon for live streaming, but they cost, I think it's like $30 a month or $40 a month to use. But then we would have a much better system of Q&A, and it's very well integrated, whereas YouTube and Patreon aren't very well integrated. And so we're having this problem where some people can see and some people can't, and all of those things. Okay, cool. Thank you, Harriet. I mean, thank you, Angela. You agree with Harriet. Yeah, okay. So this is the thing. I feel like you guys all understand more than I do what it is that I bring into your worlds. And I don't know, I need to define it or to find a definition or to find some clarity in that so that I know what to focus on sharing. Because currently I get lost and confused about what to say next, what to share next. Um, I just don't know how to keep bringing value to people, and then I don't know how to tell people what the value I bring is and give them valid reasons for pledging. Because really, for me, my sort of business model, if you will, is to share what I share in the best and most honest ways I can, and then to ask the people who value that and who find value in that to pledge and support on Patreon so that I can continue to do what I do full time. And I actually want to show you guys watching this some sort of statistics around what's been happening with my Patreon page. And this is something I don't know if I should or shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it because I want to be honest. I want to be open with you. I don't want to hide anything. And that's always what I try to do. So life is a mess. So the live streams are as well. Alex has commented on YouTube, which I think is funny. They do need to connect Periscope and Patreon. I agree. That would be amazing. That would be one amazing thing. So yeah, some of the stuff that has come up for me, I've got a little notebook in front of me here, and one of the big things I wanted to inform you all is that I'm shifting my my goals, my rewards on Patreon. So I have realized that as much as I love and value every person who pledges, the reality for me is, and I feel actually bad saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway, and we can go from there. We can work through the bad feelings. But the reality is that the $1 pledges don't there are drops in the ocean, but they're tiny drops. And I don't any of you who are pledging $1, please don't take this as me devaluing your offering, because trust me, I know how how tough money can be at times. But what I've realized is that after Patreon fees and then credit card fees and everything, I still get sort of 90% of that dollar, but 90 cents for me to focus on getting more $1 pledges, it's not worth the amount of work it takes to get one person to pledge. So what I'm doing now is I'm refocusing on inspiring the people who love what I do and who can afford it to pledge $5 or more, because that $5 makes a much bigger impact. It's like the amount of work that it takes to get one patron. It means that it means I can do more with it, basically. And so I have shifted the rewards so that at $1, you still get epic stuff. You still get access to the community that we all love so well, to the Discord chat, to download all of my officially released music, and to be a part of this community. And accumulatively, yes, that does make a difference. And I am so grateful. I hope that that comes across, because I pledge $1 to a lot of creators, and I believe in that. And I believe that's okay. But what I've done with $5 is that I now offer, at $5, you get a 15% discount on any heart songs I write, on any merch I release, on all of my music. You also get a personalized video greeting from me. I've moved that from $10 down to $5. You also get, there are other things to vote. I think that's one, and to vote in the polls that I release occasionally on Patreon about what to do next, what to record, what songs to cover, what topics to talk about, all those kind of things. Um, and so, yeah, I'm really trying to show people and give a lot of value from that $5 up. There's also the $3 amount, which gets you not only downloads of all my official released music, but all my unreleased music, of which there is loads. And I think both of those, each of those is worth by themselves, $20 or $30. If I think that one of my songs is worth $1, then that's a really high value offering, even still at $1 or $3. And so I'm pushing for that $5. Is anyone else cutting out regularly right now? Is it cutting out for other people? I'm sorry if that's the case. It says that I've got good signal here, so it should be working. Um, okay, good with you. Okay, good. Thanks for the feedback. So it's working for most people. Sorry, it's not working for you, Yari. Maybe try refreshing and come back. Um, oh, Alex, I just saw Alex says that she's debating on upping her pledge a lot very soon, which means a lot to me. Um, so yeah, Yari, what's the sad face? Tell me more. Is the sad face because you're a $1 or $3 patron, um, or because the signal is bad? But yeah, so thank you for the feedback. Thank you for understanding, Peter. Thank you, Angela. Both Peter and Angela are also creators on Patreon, so I suppose you guys really understand where I'm coming from here. Uh, and yeah, please know that I still offer everything that I do. People can watch my videos on YouTube. They can listen on Spotify. They can get so much free content. But the reality is that I have to find ways to stabilize and increase my income so that I can keep creating and create more and better. Like right now, I'm running everything myself, and I have been for a long time. But in my dream world, I would be able to hire a team. I'd be able to hire people to help me with editing of videos, editing of podcasts, creating my website. I mean, I spend so many hours every month managing my website, trying to make it work the way that I want it to, because I'm not a web developer, but I've been building my own site for many years now. And so those are some of the areas that I'm realizing I can't do alone, but I don't really know how to get help without having more income from Patreon. And so making it work that way. So yeah, I didn't, as always, I try to plan things, but I don't really know what else to say in this moment. So I'm going to look at some notes, and I also want to test out the system. I want to play you guys a song. So basically the idea going forward is that every Sunday, and this is something I'm very excited to tell you about, every Sunday I will live stream in this way, either using YouTube or using Crowdcast at some point. If I can afford that, if enough money comes in from Patreon, I'll be able to afford the Crowdcast, which I think will be more stable, hopefully. But what I'll do is every Sunday at this time, at 6 p.m. South African Standard Time, I will live stream my next podcast episode, and it'll be an interactive experience. You will get to hear me talking about the topic of that podcast episode, and I will play a song and I'm going to test that out with you right now. And you'll be able to ask questions at the end. It'll be very live, very interactive. You'll also be able to comment. And if you find any quotes or any things that are particularly interesting that you would want to share, I could even read your comments and post those out at some point in the podcast episode. It's going to be an experiment, but what I'll then be doing is recording it on my computer, and 2 weeks, a week or two, or even 3 weeks later, that podcast will go out to the public through iTunes and all the normal channels. This is one way that I wanted to make this more of an interactive experience for you guys and for me, because oh, that's such a good idea. Yes, Martin, I didn't even think of that. That is actually a problem. One of the things which will simplify that is if I in future just share the link to the live stream and we do all watch it on YouTube, or we do all watch it on Crowdcast, then it'll be easier because the video is already beside the commenting system, which makes sense. That's one of a good thing to note about Patreon. Guys, read Martin's comment if you want to see the problem with comments and watching at the same time. There's a bit of an issue there, which I hadn't thought of. Anyway, so I'd love to know what your thoughts are about this idea to do a system whereby you guys get to be interactively creating my podcast episodes with me, live streaming every Sunday. I know you won't be able to make it every Sunday, but hey, if you can make it, also, is Sunday the best day? Do you think Saturday would be a better day? I don't think doing it in the week would make sense because there are so many different time zones of people that most people will be at work at those times. So I thought a Sunday is a good day because people can take a half hour or an hour out on a Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon to join in and watch. And I thought that could be very useful for people. So I'm just reading some of Alex's comments, and she says that of all the people she's looked at on Patreon, I give a lot more stuff to my lower pledges. Like a lot of people do nothing for their $1. Right, exactly. Okay, thanks, Alex. I agree. So I try to give a lot of value for what I offer, which is an interesting thing because I feel sometimes like I give almost too much value in some areas of my life because I don't value what I do enough. I mean, if you think about it, giving for the longest time, it's been all of my music for $1. You could pledge $1 and get access to everything I've ever recorded, all the unreleased stuff, all the covers, all the official releases. That's like 50 or 60 songs. And in my mind, I was like, oh, that's, people pledge $1. That's cool. It's because I don't like excluding people based on the amount of money they can afford, but it's a challenge because I also need to be supported. And so what do? Okay, let's get to some stats. I kind of want to show you guys. So Sunday is the day we're going to do it. We're going to be live streaming from next Sunday. We'll be live streaming my podcast every Sunday to you guys, and then it'll go live out to the public a week or 2 or 3 later. So right now I'm going to try and show you my screen. I haven't tried to do this before using Google Hangouts. So let's see what happens. I'm going to show an application window, and it's going to be performance stats. Okay. So tell me when you can see what's on the screen. What is that? Can you see any changes on the screen yet? Oops. Oops. Sorry, guys. I am now confused as hell. I've just managed to change this. Let me try that again. Thank you for your patience. So what I'm trying to share is that. And I want to be able to look at this at the same time. Okay, so hopefully you should be able to. You should now be able to see my screen share. Tell me if you can or can't or whatever, but you should be able to see my statistics of how my income on Patreon has moved. And I'd be interested to talk about this. So tell me when you can see it, comment and let me know. Can see. Okay, I see Faye and Alex can see on YouTube. That's great. Visible. Excellent. Okay, so what you're looking at here, you can't see my mouse, but I'll tell you. So on the far left, perhaps you can see my mouse. Oops. So on the far left, it's basically a timeline of all my Patreon income. And what I want you to look at the moment, which is this incredible movement that it's had. But from September 2015 until November 2016, you can see it kind of leveled out and it stayed there. And trust me, I'm not complaining. That is more money than I've like making $1,500 a month just from my art as a creator is still the most incredible thing in my life. It really is. It has liberated me in so many ways. And then you can see in January of 2017, that was when we did the big push to raise funds for my album, which I feel terribly guilty about because I have not released that album yet. And I intended to release it in August last year, but because of my issues with my health and my depression and just my state of mind, I didn't get to it. And I've recorded 5 of the songs, which I want to release this year. And that's another big project that I, again, have to do and have to do by myself. And I'm just feeling kind of overwhelmed by, but I will do it and I want to do it. So one of the things I need to set up is pre-sales of those albums so that people can order the physical copies and get that all done. And then you can see what's interesting is that now, as of April 2018, I am back to the same amount that I was on September 2015. So almost 3 years later, we're on a very similar amount. And I think there's some interesting thing there. I don't know what it is about me or my state of mind or my state of being that kind of keeps me at this level and says, I can't make more income than that. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it's about, but it is a curious experience. And so, yeah, I wanted to show you guys that. It's just crazy. It's wild. There's another thing that I have seen, which you can see actually from March to April, we've dropped quite a bit. So far this month, Patreon income I've 6, including people who've pledged. We are down by 6 patrons and down by $95, I think. So this is one of the questions that I have is like, what do I need to do? What was I doing before? And what do I need to do now to inspire more people to join this tribe, to join the natives, to join my patrons, and to choose to support my art, so that I can stabilize and grow my Patreon and I can keep doing what I do and I can do it more, so that I can eventually hire other people to help me with things like marketing and website building and all of those, and afford better platforms to do live streaming on and all of those things. I don't really know what these answers are, but I just want to include you guys in the questioning because I've been questioning myself for so long by myself, and I just don't want to be alone in it anymore. So yeah, that's a little thing. I don't know what other stats you might like to see, but I don't want to show you anything that has people's names in it because I don't think that's fair. I haven't asked anyone if I could show their names. So yeah, that's it for now. I'm gonna stop. Try to see my point of view, echoes of another you, saving up your indiscretions. I've seen the wild, untamable, more than less unshakable, shaper who has named me shameless. So leave me, I'm tempted. Every rule I've bended, I shake the weight and break the hate with everything that I am made of. Try to see my point of view, echoes of another you, saving up your indiscretions. I've seen the wild, untamable, more than less unshakable, shaper who has named me shameless. I'm looking for a friend to get me out. I'm so sorry. That was a rookie error on my part. Turn off the echoes. Yeah, exactly. We have echoes. I'm so sorry. That was in my recording software. I did not check that I had another song on another track that just started playing by itself. That's meant to be the end track at the end of my podcast episodes. So you got a little surprise right there. Thank you. I'm glad you like that song. That was funny. So sorry, what was the last thing you heard me say before I so rudely interrupted with my own song? I think what Angela said really stands out to me. I'd love if you guys didn't see it, check her comment. She says, I really think before you had a distinct vision and it was easy for others to see. And I feel the same thing about that. Um, Thanks for I see Alex, Designer Day. Thanks everyone. I've turned off the tracks. I do apologize. That was my bad. Oh no, did you miss how long did you miss for? I'm so sorry. So what I was responding to was Angela saying saying that I had a distinct vision before and it was easy for others to see and that's why people were pledging. Um Oh my gosh, not naming names. That's hilarious. What I was gonna say is that I was thinking of showing you more stats, but I didn't want to show because I don't know which stats show people's names, and I don't think I can show you names um, without having asked them first. So anyway, so I've moved on now, and we're talking about what Angela has said, which is that she really thinks that before I had a distinct vision and it was easy for others to see, which I think is a very good point. And so that's why we're having this conversation because I feel like I have lost sight of my vision. Um, and it's already been so enlightening to hear feedback from you guys over the last few days since my last post. Because one of the things that Elizabeth even said was in her comment, she said that seeing me travel and my joy for travel and the places I went inspired her to go traveling herself. And that was interesting for me. And other people have said they'd love to see videos of me just from where I am around in Cape Town and in South Africa. And I was like, I could do that. I love making videos and I love the place that I'm from. And so it gives me insights into what inspires some of the people who enjoy watching what I do, which is that I'm a traveler and I'm a nomad. Right now, I'm not really traveling because of my health issues with my back and my neck, which I am working on, by the way. I bought a book called Pain Free by Pete Egoscu. And I'm doing those exercises every morning. And I must say, when I do the exercises, I feel much better. My neck gets pretty bad again by the end of the day, but it is having an impact. And so I'm going to be working with one of their therapists via Skype as much as I can afford, basically, to work on my herniated disc and hopefully sort that out in my neck. So yes, I would love to hear your thoughts. What do you think? What do you think of what I've said? And how have any of you ever had the challenge of having a vision and having clarity around what you're doing and your purpose and what you're passionate about, and then kind of falling off the rails? Because my goal was right. Sorry, I've just got distracted by Martin's comment. Whoops, I was meant to keep speaking. Um, but I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on like redirecting yourself into a like what happens when you derail. Because for myself, my goal was build up my Patreon page until I have a stable income from it, which will allow me to keep traveling and keep playing music and keep visiting people. And then my next step was house concert tours, playing shows around the world, coming and visiting patrons. And that was it. And then I got totally derailed by neck issues and my depression and all these things that came out of nowhere, or not out of nowhere, but these things that I just eventually kind of collapsed under the weight of. And since then, I haven't really been able to get it back. I've felt kind of adrift and not sure what to say and not sure what to show or what to do. Um, and so that's, yeah. Thank you, Angela. I appreciate that. Traveling doesn't need to be far. I like that. I like that. Well said, Alex. Travel within the city you are. Traveling doesn't need to be far or exotic. Just take us to get groceries. That's lovely. I appreciate that. That's very sweet. Alex, thank you. I'm reading, Dave says he falls off his creative vision rails all the time. Only stuck it through on things that I know have returns. So maybe it's just about believing in your own vision so that you follow it through. Yeah, well, Faye, that's the thing. What is the vision? If you have a clear idea of what the vision is, then I want to hear it. I feel like I should know it by now, but somehow I just keep like getting confused. What is the vision? What am I here to say? How do I know? I want to line up like a month's worth of posts and creations so that I can just get on with creating instead of sitting there going, what am I doing next? Um, so I don't think I could do it each hour, Harriet. Too much for me. I need to be living the life and not worrying about sharing too much of it. But perhaps once a week or a few times a week, I can share. That's another problem for me, is that I'm realizing more and more how social media and how the internet invites us to be constantly feeding the information machine. And for myself, that often ends up with me getting out of myself and not taking time for myself to do the things that are around me just for myself. And I think that that's an important thing to acknowledge. To find that balance is something I have not done. um, so yeah. I'm interested. I like this idea of the campaign, of running like a quarterly campaign, as Martin has said, to find exciting, energizing projects to get behind that I can actually complete. I think the idea of doing a whole album, it's funny because I went back and watched my original video, my rough video for talking about raising funds for the album and doing the tree planting, and it was so simple. It was like, I'm going to do 4 or 5 songs. It's going to be acoustic. It's going to be just me live as I am. And then as it went, I got more and more and more complex, to the point where I was like, I'm doing a full album and it's going to be with all these musicians. It's going to be this whole big thing. And then I was like, I'm going to do 1 song a month, and I just got it so complicated and it just became too much. And so that's one of my realizations, is that I try to make things so big because I think the little things aren't enough, which is crazy because I wrote a song called It's the Little Things, and I love the little things, and I think they are so important. Anyway, so let me see if I have any other notes here. I wondered, one of the things I wondered, which is kind of one of the things I wondered is about, I know it's like a simple thing, or maybe it's not, but about the goals on Patreon. Like currently, I don't feel like I have very good goals set in place, and I'd love to know, I don't know. I don't think that's up for you guys to answer, but if you have any ideas and you feel to say anything, then I'd love to hear that. But basically the idea of, what are my goals? Like when we reach 500 patrons, when we reach 700, when we reach 1,000, what are the things that I could introduce that would improve my experience and your experience of what I'm doing in the world? And I'd be curious to hear if you have any thoughts about that at some point. And you don't have to comment now, but if you have any thoughts afterwards, you can do that. So yes, I did mention the reward changes. I would invite you guys to go and check out the different reward changes. I actually feel happy about them. I think I'm offering a lot of value still, even at $1 or $3, but I'm really focusing on making that $5. Like, you get a lot of epic stuff at $5. And then from there up, it's kind of, because I mean, if you think about it, if someone's even pledging $3 at the moment, if they can afford $2 extra, or if someone's pledging $1 and they can afford $4 extra a month, it's times 5. It's 5 times their input. And if, I don't know, it's an amazing thing. So I'm hoping that people will see the new rewards and be like, oh, you know what, I can afford $3 extra or $4 extra, and I want to, and then that makes a difference there. So check that out. And what do you guys think of this? Yes, I agree with you, Martin. Well said. The goals will become clearer once the thing is clear. That actually makes total sense. I agree with you. Well said. So what do you think of this format as a way to do the podcast? I want to actually give you guys the example now, not like I did earlier with Echoes, but I want songs, which is Fire, which is actually going to be next week's live stream, is going to be me recording my podcast episode for my song Fire, and the idea of sitting in the flames of discomfort of being human. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to press play, and you should hear. So what I'll do is I'll give you the intro. I'll be like, welcome to Getting Naked with Nate. We're here to do this. We're here to do that. We're having a good time. And now let's have our song for today, which is Fire. Please enjoy, and I'll be back in just a few minutes' time. Wood, flame, embers burn to ash. Throw the ash down, let the trees grow once again. And so you should be able to hear me now. It shouldn't be too loud, but do give me your feedback. So build your fire and is it a good volume? Is it similar to what my voice has been? Until it's gone, 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 gone. Gone, 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 gone. Gone, 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 gone. When the flames have all burned down, what will remain? And that was Fire. So that's an example of what that'll sound like. And then we'll keep talking and the episode will continue. And what I've got here, I can actually, well, maybe you guys don't want to see it, but I've got a whole system recording on my computer. And so I can go back after the fact and make a very high quality version of the podcast that will then be shared out on all the channels online. So those are some of the things that I'm thinking about at the moment. I'm sorry to hear you're not off next Sunday, Alex. That's very sad. And yes, I agree. It is the little things that make the big things. It's very well said. And yes, Designer Dave, kiss, keep it simple, stupid. Yes, that you are actually the second person to say that to me today. So I'm taking that on board. It is a balance and I do have to keep communicating. Faye, you are absolutely right. Thank you very much. Oh, was it a bit loud? Faye says the song was a bit loud, so I can turn the volume down a bit on that. So thanks for letting me know. That's one of the challenges that I've been confronting is how to make sure the volume doesn't get too loud on that. Anyway. No, I do not follow Surviving Creativity, Angela. I will have to check them out. That sounds cool. Yeah, I definitely want a formula. I had a formula idea when I first got started. So it was like intro, which would include like a welcome and what we're going to talk about today, and a thank you to my community who supports the podcast and allows me to do it and values it so that I can make high quality content that serves the world. And then it would be listen to the song, and then it'll be the main part where I talk about the content, the subjects the song inspires. And then I think another song, I don't think I want to play the same song twice, which is what I have been doing for the podcast for the last few episodes. I think another song or some other kind of excerpt. And then finally answering questions which have been asked live by you guys during the live stream. And oh, that's funny. Yeah, Spotify has tagged, because the album that Fire is on has a swear word or two in one or two of the songs, the whole album has now been tagged as explicit. I don't know how to change that. It's just silly. But anyway, so it is. So yeah, the volume, I'm not going to be talking over the songs generally. But yeah, this is another one of my confusions, and like trying to find simplicity in my life. The reality is it would be much easier for me to do this through a podcasting platform called Spreaker. That's speaker with an R. They basically allow you to live stream podcast episodes as you go. It allows less freedom afterwards. Like I couldn't edit it or anything afterwards, but it would all happen in one go. And they have tools specifically built to stop things from being too loud or too soft and making sure everyone gets to hear it. But the problem with that is I can't live stream only to patrons. I have to live stream to everyone. It's publicly. I can't do it as a patron only live stream. So it kind of destroys the value of that little thing I want to offer you guys. So yeah, trying to find simplicity, finding simplicity is hard, I would say. So it's funny. I've thought that a lot before, that simplicity is surprisingly challenging to get to. So yeah, I'm not sure what to do about that. Oh, thank you, Harriet. That is very unexpected. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, your 14-year-old daughter sounds cool, and it sounds like she has a mom who's telling her the right things to do in her life. Keep on pushing. Not push. Find a way to. This is the thing in Zen or Taoism. They say like the only real action is non-action, and so the only way to move forward is to do so without effort, which is strange because it does take effort, but it's this effort without attachment or effort without stress and pain is definitely something I'm seeking in my life. So yeah, Martin, I must introduce you all to Martin. If you don't know him yet, Martin has been a friend of mine for many years. We met through the music industry. Well, yeah, through the sort of startup industry in London many years ago. And he was one of my first 5 patrons. He has been a friend and a business mentor for many years, and we've had some very great conversations. And just recently, he's been helping me again to kind of overcome some of my sticking points. And so I just want to say thank you to Martin for being such a wonderful human and for believing in me through all of it. And then that kind of spreads out to all of you who seem to believe in me even when I really don't believe in myself. And I find that amazing. So thank you for your faith and your presence and your willingness to be a part of this. If anyone has other thoughts or ideas or questions or things that I was meant to mention that I haven't because I took crappy notes and I can't remember what else I was meant to say. But yeah, and another one of the ideas that I actually had. So if I want to simplify my podcast live streaming, and I choose to do it through this other platform called Spreaker, what I could do is I could do a Patreon post 30 minutes before and just say, hey, everyone, I'm going live in 30 minutes at this link. Ask your questions now. And you guys could ask your questions all in that time before. And then I can go live to the public, to everyone, but I'll only answer your guys' questions during that podcast or you know, I don't know if that's all. I don't know if it's making sense to you guys. It's so confusing. I've spent so much time trying to find the simplest way that's going to cause me the least hassle in my life. And it takes up so much of my time just trying to find those things. But I'm hoping that eventually I will it'll be like, oh, that's it. That makes sense. Let's do it that way. Because that would be great. I would really like that. So, I want to tell you my potential title for next week's podcast that we'll be recording. It won't be coming out next week. It'll be coming out either the following week or the week after that. But the title I have so far is called How a Psychic, a Sauna, and a Broken Heart Taught Me About Surrendering to the Fire. I'll read that again. How a psychic, a sauna, and a broken heart taught me about surrendering to the fire. I thought I'm excited to like record that episode. I don't even know what I'm going to say, but it sounds like fun. So yes, my beautiful people, I appreciate the heck out of you. Let me see what else Alex is up to here. Thank you, Alex. Alex is spouting some serious wisdom over on the YouTube chat. So thank you, Alex. I know, Alex, you are missing a lot by not seeing the Patreon comments, but you're also adding a lot just by your wonderful comments. So thank you for that. I'm going to find a better way to live stream next time so that everyone can watch. I'm not sure what that's going to mean yet, but if I can find a way to afford Crowdcast, then I think that's probably the simplest way because it links up with Patreon really nicely. But otherwise, I'll just keep looking for a better way because I want this to be fluid. I want everyone to be easily able to join in. I haven't found that way yet, so we'll get there. We'll get there, my lovely people. Yeah. So does anyone have any other feedback or ideas or anything they want to say? Because I have kind of run out of stuff to say at this point. Yeah, I still needed to find the thing, and I don't know how to do that, but I do have some workbooks. Actually, funnily enough, there's a questionnaire that Martin found, which he thought might be interesting for me to do. I think I've kept you all for long enough. I don't want to overstay my welcome, as it were. But I think maybe I'll do another live stream or something at some point. Hello, Jane. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your recent pledge as well. It's lovely to welcome you. But yeah, Martin shared this lovely post with me that was 7 strange questions that help you find your life purpose, which I thought was just fantastic. And the questions are very strange. So I'll read you the first one. What's your favorite flavor of shit sandwich, and does it come with an olive? Which needs a bit of explaining. The question itself is a bit confusing, but it's great and fun. I also have found a worksheet to do, which is a brand development worksheet, which I think would be helpful for me, personal brand development. So I'm going to work through that this week, and hopefully that will bring some clarity as well. Yeah, and I hope that I can just find a way to read. It's the feeling of I need to know that what I'm doing is in alignment with what I'm here to do, with whatever the goals are, with whatever the purpose is, because otherwise I don't really know what to say next. I don't know what video to make next, what song to write next, what podcast episode to record next. And it gets so, just that feeling of not knowing is so overwhelming in itself. And so that's the big focus, is what is the thing And then how do I create so that everything I do ties into that thing that I'm here to share with you wonderful people, and with anyone else who chooses to engage with that. And that's it. I have nothing else to say. You are wonderful. Thank you for joining me for this almost hour conversation. It really means a lot to me. It's kind of wild. I'm struggling to wrap my head around the fact that I have almost, around 350 paying patrons, and I think we've had 8 lovely people here this throughout this, which is which is wild. And I just wonder what the rest of the people think. I'd love to know what they think. Like, where are they? Why are they pledging? What is their story? Because yeah, some people just want to pledge and forget, and I think that that's also fine. It's completely fine, obviously. So yeah, I'm interested to hopefully hear from some of the other members of this community as well. Angela has said on the Patreon comments, has said, please share those things on Discord with us. So I guess you mean the things that I'm working through and trying to understand and work out. Oh yes, and the links to the articles. I think that's one thing that I would like. No, not I think. It is certainly one of the things I would like to share more of, is to remember to save the links to the interesting things I read and the tools that I'm using to help carry myself forward. And hopefully those things can be of assistance to others as well. We can kind of experiment together. I will share that on Discord, Angela. Thank you. I will certainly do that. I'm going to say farewell. You're amazing, and feel free to comment or send me private messages or whatever else you would like to do. But other than that, I will be back next Sunday live streaming at the same time. I will be sharing posts on Patreon to tell you where that live stream will be. I'm not sure yet where it will be, because I want to find a way to make sure that we can easily communicate and that everyone can comment in the same place, and we don't have the same hassle of some people not working and you can't read the comments and watch the video at the same time. And if you're on mobile, it's a whole other thing. And I want it to be very straightforward and very easy for everyone to be a part of this who wants to. But next Sunday, 6 p.m. South African Standard Time, we will be recording the next podcast episode. So I would love to have you there, and I'm excited for us to make something magical out of it. And that's it. You're amazing, beautiful people. Thank you for being here, and I will see you again real soon. I'm honored to be on this journey with you, even when I don't know where it's headed, because the journey itself is worth it when there are lovely people like you around. I can tell you that much. So thank you, and I wish you all the blessings. Bye.